Usado wakes up in an army camp and meets Suzune, who is excited about her new armor that supports her thunder magic and allows her to move freely. Usado is surprised, thinking she liked cute outfits. Suzune shares that in her old world, growing cacti helped calm her, and now she wants Usado to do the same for her. As she flirts with him, Kazuki shows up, preventing any awkward moments, and leaves with Suzune. Later, Sigils briefs everyone on the battle plan. They plan a surprise magic attack when the demon army arrives. The heroes will fight alongside the knights, aiming to take down the enemy commander. Suzune advises Kazuki not to push himself, but he knows she's using Usado to distract herself from her worries. They see the demon army approaching, but it's an illusion, with the real army coming from the southwest. The heroes move to face them, while Rose assigns the rescue team to bring in the injured, and Orga and Oruru will handle healing in the tent. Usado helps heal a soldier who says he was thrown by a giant snake. Soldiers struggle against the snake, and a black knight mocks their weakness. A soldier stabs the knight, but it doesn't affect him. Instead, the soldier starts bleeding. A rescue squad member saves the soldier, and the black knight, curious, notices lightning in the distance and heads there. Rose then tells Usado it's time for them to join the fight. On the battlefield, Kazuki warns Suzune about a snake monster, but they focus on reaching the enemy commander. The Black Knight appears, letting soldiers stab him without fighting back, reflecting the damage onto them. Suzune realizes his armor reflects attacks he can see, but not those from behind. She and Kazuki launch an attack, but the knight reflects it back. He had misled them into thinking his back was vulnerable. Usado, meanwhile, has a headache, haunted by visions of his friends dying. He's saved by a soldier and heads toward the heroes. Suzune makes a risky plan, relying on Usado's healing ability. Despite their efforts, the knight outsmarts them, and both Kazuki and Suzune collapse. Usado arrives, saves them, and fights the Black Knight. He notices his attacks are not being reflected, thanks to his healing magic. As they fight, Suzune realizes the knight is weak to healing magic. The Black Knight powers up, but Usado counters with a powerful healing punch, defeating her. The demon army retreats after their leader falls. Suzune thanks Usado for saving them, and Kazuki reports that the snake monster is moving toward the front. Rose then arrives, impressed by Usado's actions. She informs him the battle is under control, and they return to camp. Meanwhile, Amila, shocked by the knight's defeat, orders a retreat. The heroes fight the snake, and Usado helps heal soldiers. Rose praises Usado for his role in winning the battle, and he feels relieved, though exhausted, finally passing out. Usado returns from the battle and learns that he's been summoned to the castle for a reward from the king. He's so nervous that Rose has to smack him during the ceremony, but he's happy because he never received a reward in his old world. Soon after, he's called back to the castle, which makes him wonder why. On his way, people in town recognize him as a rescue squad member and thank him by giving him goods. At the castle, a guard named Aruru thanks Usado for his efforts. The king and Sigils inform him that they need his help to interrogate the Black Knight, who's been cooperating but withholding key details about her magic. She's agreed to share more if she can meet Usado. Suzune joins him and they meet the Black Knight. Usado asks how he defeated her, and Sigils explains that her dark magic was cancelled out by his healing magic. Realizing she's still in pain from his attacks, Usado rushes to heal her. The Black Knight gets emotional, as she's never felt this way before, and starts to cry. Next, we see Usado training with Rose, who's teaching him to dodge attacks, especially ones from cursed items. Rose punches Usado in the stomach, knocking him out. After he wakes up, she's ready to go again, and he looks terrified. 3 days later, Usado shares his training experience with the Black Knight, who wonders why he's visiting her. Usado asks her what she plans to do next, but she says it's not her choice to make. Meanwhile, the king asks Rose for a favor. Usado meets up with Kazuki, who is training with Princess Celia watching over him. Usado feels a bit jealous. Kazuki jokes about hearing that Usado made the Black Knight cry, but Usado explains that he was just healing her. Celia thanks Usado for his role in getting crucial information from the Black Knight and mentions that without him on the battlefield, they might have lost. Kazuki starts to thank Usado for saving him, but stops when he realizes Celia is listening. She asks for more details about the battle, and Usado realizes that Kazuki hid the fact that the Black Knight almost killed him. Later, Rose visits the Black Knight in her cell, offering her two choices: stay in prison for life or join Rose and reform as an upright demon. Rose mentions that the king dislikes killing prisoners because it could provoke revenge. She places a mana-suppressing collar on the Black Knight and says she'll train her. leaving the Black Knight surprised that she didn't even get to choose. Usado is later seen training with Blurrin when Rose arrives with the Black Knight. Usado is shocked, but Rose says she's going to reform her through training. Usado offers his sympathy to the Black Knight. He later reports to Rose that the Black Knight complained but calmed down after a bath and is now resting. Rose predicts she'll understand her situation once training begins. Rose also tells Usado that the king wants to form alliances with other countries against the Demon Lord's army and plans to send Usado as one of the kingdom's representatives. The next day, while shopping, Usado runs into Suzune. He then spots the fox girl who once gave him a warning. He catches her, and she tells him that she's waiting for him to repay his debt by helping her save her mother. Suzune is excited when the fox-eared girl appears and introduces herself as Amako, a fox beastman. Amako decides to have a serious conversation with Usado. Meanwhile, the Black Knight is training but gets mocked by the rescue squad for being too slow for a demon. She collapses from exhaustion, and Rose immediately smacks her for slacking off, forcing her to continue running. Usado, Suzune, and Amako head to the rescue squad house, where Suzune is eager to pet Amako, but Usado tries to focus on the conversation. He asks Amako about the vision she showed him, and Amako explains that without that warning, the kingdom would have been destroyed. She reveals she has magic that allows her to see the future and has been searching for a healer to help save her mother in the Beastlands. Since only humans can use healing magic, she left the Beastlands to find help but was unsuccessful until she met Usado. She asks him to accompany her to save her mother. Suzune worries because Usado is crucial to their kingdom, but he explains that his mission to deliver letters might allow him to travel with her. Usado talks to Rose about Amako's abilities. Rose is surprised and warns that if the Beastmen knew they were harboring Amako, they might attack. However, Rose agrees to discuss the matter with the king. When Usado informs Amako, she thanks him, already predicting what he was going to say. Later, the rescue squad has dinner, but the Black Knight hesitates to eat. Usado encourages her to eat for strength and gives her a diary to log her daily training. Over time, the Black Knight starts using the diary and notes her training progress. On the 10th day, she witnesses Usado training with Rose. Rose yells at him for failing to dodge her punches, and though Usado successfully dodges one punch, he gets kicked. The Black Knight, worried, watches as Usado celebrates his minor victory and returns to training. Usado eventually asks the Black Knight for her name, and she shyly tells him her name is Felm. Blurrin then joins them for a run, and Felm, feeling upset that Usado didn't use her name, runs ahead at full speed. At dinner, Usado reports to Rose that Felm collapsed after overexerting herself, but he healed her and put her to bed. The other members joke that Usado must have worked her too hard, and he insists he's more human than Rose. Suddenly, a spoon flies past his face, cutting his cheek. It was thrown by Rose, who seems irritated, but the group calms down. Felm overhears a conversation between Rose and Usado about a meeting with the king. The next morning, Felm tries to escape, but is caught by Rose. At first, Rose suspects Felm of trying to inform the Demon Lord's army, but she realizes Felm just wanted to accompany Usado on his journey. Rose scolds her, and they continue training. Usado, meanwhile, meets with the king, who thanks Amako for saving the kingdom, and agrees to let Usado visit the Beastlands as part of his mission. Usado will be visiting 4 countries: Luckvist, the City of Magic, the Samariel, the Country of Prayer, Meyerlark, the Country of Water, and finally, the Beastlands. Welki will accompany them to Luckvist, along with Suzune and Kazuki, but after that, they will travel on their own with 2 knights for protection. When asked to recommend knights, Usado chooses Aruru and Blurrin. Despite being tired of the training, Felm is told to continue running by Rose. Before leaving, Usado is too oblivious to notice that Felm has developed feelings for him. Rose advises him that healing magic is often underestimated, so if anyone looks down on him for it, he should prove them wrong by showing his strength. She hints that this journey will change him for better or worse and expects great things from him, which moves Usado. The following day, Usado departs with Amako after receiving well wishes from Aruru and Orga. As they leave, Rose takes Felm somewhere, and Usado looks forward to his next adventure.